Thank you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. We're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life. Want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. In this episode, we get to speak with Lucy Ruth. She's a visionary motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and a graduate of the Institute of Machine Tool Technology. She's multi-talented and passionate about empowering her community. She works in a lab as an advanced lab technician where she helps people improve their vision with prescription contact lenses. Lucy is a mother of 3, works full-time, and runs an online business selling African heritage products on Amazon. Lucy was featured in a story by the WeightSheCarries.com for her support of African artistry. Let's listen in to this episode. Lucy, thanks for coming on to the podcast. How are you doing today?
I am blessed. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm doing well as well. It's a wonderful Friday. The weather is great. Can't wait to get out there with my kids and play in the yard. We've been all indoors, and it's been quite crazy. This COVID period has put a toll on a lot of us. Hopefully, you're doing well and staying safe.
Yes, thankfully I am. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are not coping very well with COVID. I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, I think it's in Quebec that some people are just committing suicide. They're just saying, you know what? What's the point?
Yeah,
Because some people have lost their loved ones, some people have lost their friends, some people, not everybody can cope. So it's rough times for everybody, especially those that live by themselves.
yeah. Especially when you're living alone, it's so much harder. And if you're living with somebody else, well, you got to deal with them. And there's some kind of relief, but
Mm.
there's still, you're at least you're not alone.
Yes.
So yeah, there's been crazy things happening. So Lucy, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, what brings you here to the podcast, and how did you hear about us, and what is it that you're doing in the world?
Okay, how did I get here? I My journey starts from a place called Zimbabwe, which is in Africa,
Hmm.
Southern Africa. A lot of people know South Africa. So Zimbabwe, we neighbors with South Africa and Botswana and Mozambique.
Hmm.
So I grew up there and left and went to England. From England, I came to Canada. So
Mm.
I've lived in 3 different continents.
Nice.
And in every continent, each continent I've been, I have realized that despite our differences, the struggles people face are the same. Right now, we all face with coronavirus. It's
Mm.
not affecting only. It's not only affecting Black people. It's not only affecting white people. It's not affecting Asians. It's affecting everybody. So,
Yeah.
despite our differences, our struggles, the challenges we all face are the same. We all suffer from things like depression. We all, at some point in our lives, get sick. At some point in our lives, we all suffer from the same issues.
Yeah.
So, having gone through that journey of living from continent to continent, I became a writer because I was so fascinated by people, and having a background in tourism also helps. I used
Hmm.
to be an airport supervisor at London Gatwick and London Heathrow.
Nice.
So I have experienced a multitude of love and rainbow of colors, a rainbow of people. And the more I dealt with people, the more I felt like I wanted to get to their heart.
Yeah.
I wanted to connect. So, how I connect with people is by writing. I started writing my first book called Debunk and Develop Your Mind:
Hmm.
How to Transform the Negatives of Life negative D's of life into a positive outcome.
Yeah.
And these negative D's are like death, debt, disease, depression, divorce, drug abuse, domestic abuse. All those things in life starts with a D. So I got here because I'm a writer, and because I'm a writer, I have a lot of followers and a lot of connections. I ended up connecting with you organically. So that's
Mhm.
how I got here.
Nice. I love it. I love the story, having the opportunity to live in three different continents. I didn't even think about that when I was growing up because I grew up in Asia
Mhm.
and then I moved to the US. So that puts me in two continents. But that's a really good way to think about it. And yes, people all over the world are facing the same challenges. People are stuck in homes. People are, stuck with their families, and they have to either work from home and teach their kids at home, or they are don't have much to do. And there's been a lot of good coming out of it. There's also a bad, but you need the bad and the good because that is the circle of life, right? We have days and nights to balance our daily, right? We see the good and the bad so we can appreciate the good, right? I think both of those are important and it is part of human life. So very, very well said. And yes, we did meet organically, and it's been pretty amazing, following your journey and looking at what you have been doing. It's pretty beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, like organic is always good. Organic is always sustainable. Like I always tell people, do not worry about what's going on, or you're trying to do something and it's not working. If it's organic, it'll work and it will last. So some people do not really understand organic growth or organic
Mhm.
friendships. Organic lasts longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is when we say organic growth versus paid growth, right? So you either have organic traffic coming to your website or you have paid traffic, and there's a lot of paid traffic going to different funnels and different places. And it's really interesting to see where the thought process of people and what they're doing with their businesses and how they're bringing clients in, because there's a cost involved for everything. But as long as you keep doing the good that you're passionate about, and like you said, you are a writer, and because of your writing and sharing your stories and sharing your heart out, you gain followers, you gain a tribe that loves your tone, loves your language, loves the way you speak.
Yes, and also like because of these social media times that we're in, and also a lot of people when it comes to business, they don't really understand that sometimes you can be a nagging business owner. Don't be a nagging business owner. People hate naggers. A lot of men hate nagging. Like
Hmm.
my husband once said to me once, "Oh, woman, you're gonna nag me to death." I was like, "Have you done this? Have you cut the grass? You gotta do this. You need to do the barbecue. You need to do that." That's good, and that's also bad because maybe
Hmm.
he's tired and I'm not taking time to listen to him, and maybe his body is not feeling it. It's the
Yeah.
same principle applies to business. Don't nag your customers. When they're ready, they'll buy. When they're ready, they will respond to your call to action. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But when you are nagging them, you actually chase some people away. I actually posted on my Facebook the other day that do not become an accidental spammer, spamming people on Facebook and all your social media. That's not going to be good for your growth.
Yeah.
Let it flow. Just let it go. Take a moment to breathe. So when it comes to social media, people are online because maybe I've been watching TV all day, or maybe I've had a rough day. I just want to switch off. And then boom,
Hmm.
I come to your site, you're bombarding me with this, do that. Just let it be, have a variety. Like sometimes like I do with my Facebook.
Hmm.
I like today I posted about, you know what? This season, if you've been laid off and you want something to do, if you're not afraid to work, start a cleaning business. You know what? Because there's gonna be so much money to be made in cleaning because hospitals, they have to keep up with their cleanings. Doctors' offices, everybody has to keep cleaning to a very high standard. So if you're
Right.
not afraid to work, there's a business opportunity for you. Cleaning.
Absolutely.
So some days I post motivating people to do something positive. Then I have days when I just post whatever because people need that.
Yes.
And then I have days when I go live and I'm like, what was I talking about? And sometimes when I don't post, I get people saying, oh, are you gonna go live? Or I get people say, you know what? You motivated me the other day. Now I'm going to do this. I have a girl, she's a single parent. She's in Africa.
Hmm.
She said to me, after COVID-19, you have motivated me to start my own business. You have motivated me to go, you know what? I don't have to feel sorry for myself. I was in this prison where I felt so sorry for myself. And now because I've been following you, you have given me the nudge. And you know what? I also want to write my own book. So this is good stuff. So when your content on social media is variable, it's also good for your business because people are hurting. A lot of people are hurting. I
Right.
always say to people that there is a lot of people who are carrying hidden scars. Unless you've walked my journey, unless you've listened to my story, you cannot come to a conclusion that you know me or you know what my immediate requirements or needs are. So we hurt, but the hurt is inside. We do not show our hurts. So I just want to encourage business owners, like, when you're doing business, also have
Hmm.
that connection with people. You have to connect. You gotta,
Yes.
emotion touches. People are moved by emotion. So just a word of advice to online business owners and everybody who's trying to get into the social media. You can grow, but just mix it up, spice it up.
Absolutely. People want to hear human stories. They don't want to be like, oh, buy this glass of bottle, buy this thing. Sure, people will buy. So that's what's really funny thing that came out of it is that when people buy something, they look at who's selling it. They connect with the person selling it, not with the product. I
Exactly.
could be a fan of Nike or I can be a fan of Adidas, but who's selling me? Because and I think what's happened over the time is that with marketing, and these big brands have had the money to market these products, so we buy the products because we know that, oh, Michael Jordan wears Nikes, so I gotta have me some Jordans, or I gotta have some Nikes. So you associate the products that you purchase to some person, and
Yes.
because of that person's influence and what they bring to the world, you associate the gravitas of that product. So as a person who's online, as an online business owner, you need to bring your heart story out so you can connect with those people on that deeper human level. And I think that's what you've been doing by motivating people, because a lot of the times people are stuck in a small hole and they don't know what else is possible. It's almost like when you're an eagle, you can fly up high and you can see all the things that are possible. But when you're a mouse, when you're a rabbit, you only have access to what's in front of you. And if it's barren land, like, well, there's no food for me. I gotta go, burrow down. But when you fly high, when you go up higher, you can see so many more opportunities. So it's really amazing what you're doing with telling people, if you're not afraid to work, go out there and do the work that people need, you know, help with. I love it.
Yes, indeed. I've actually written a book talking about that. It's coming soon. It's called How
Nice.
to Live and Survive in a Bad Economy. It's got so many good ideas. Like, I'm like,
Nice.
wow, why didn't I write this before? But this book is for this time where everything is is going down. So many people have lost their jobs, and
Yeah.
it's going to take a long time for the economy to recover. So in the
Yeah, it will.
meantime, we got to deal with what we have, right? We got to
Exactly.
utilize what we have. And I've also learned in my life, and I'm always encouraging people that life does get better. There's no situation in life that remains stagnant. Like
Absolutely.
life is like seasons. We get winter, we get summer. Some days are cold, some days are hot. That's the
Hmm.
reality of life. But we
Yes.
have to embrace it. We have to prepare for ourselves. We have to make sure that we have nice winter coats because winter is coming, right? And then
Yes.
summer we need ACs to cool us down. But life gets better. We move from one season to the other and we enjoy fall. So that's just the reality of this
Yeah.
season that we're in right now. Life gets better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Life does get better, and that's a really good point. We have the so many seasons, so we are taught. We learn from nature that everything changes, that every situation can has a silver lining to it, right? So that's amazing. I love it. So tell us some of tell us the journey of your tell us a version of your journey that no one's heard of before.
Okay, a version of my journey, like I became a speaker because a speaker and a writer and a youth mentor because my journey has been a journey of pain. I went through so much trauma growing up because in Zimbabwe, I never knew that people suffered from depression because
Mm,
it's a word that actually did not exist in society because it's I can't explain it to people who live in this part of the world, but people who come from Africa will understand that you are told that you have to be strong as a woman. Be
mm,
strong. Just be strong, you know. If your husband is abusive or something, they say, oh, that's marriage, you know, this kind of stuff, right?
wow.
Told to be strong. But the times have changed and they're now people are now speaking up. But in my mother's generation, it was a totally different generation. My mother suffered from severe depression, but nobody knew that she had
Mm,
depression.
yeah.
So eventually she killed herself. She committed suicide.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I cannot explain how she killed herself because it's one of a kind. It's unheard of. I've never heard of anybody else who's ever died that way. And I will not share it because it's horrific.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
that trauma, the resentment that I had for my mother, because I'm like, really? Did you ever think about me before you committed suicide?
Yeah.
How could you just go and leave a 10-year-old? I have a 10-year-old right here, but I can't
Hmm.
imagine just saying, you know what? That's it. I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know, so when that happened, in that moment, I was bitter. I suffered from a lot of depression. I used to ask God so many questions. God, why did you choose this life for me? Because come Christmas time, when you know your friends are celebrating their mother bought them these, it's Mother's Day, people are celebrating their mother. I don't have a mother. Not only do I not have a mother but out of natural causes, but I don't have a mother because she was selfish. She decided to take her own life. That was my thinking. But I then realized that the society that my mother grew up in was not friendly to people that were suffering from depression.
Yeah.
So her only way out was doing what she did.
She didn't have the support. She didn't have any other way out of it. There's no treatment. There's because now we talk about mental health. I mean, it's one of the biggest topics
Mhm.
everybody's talking about. But you're right. There's places in the world like your hometown that didn't have support for them, something like that.
Yes. So thankfully now depression is now a global pandemic. Apart from coronavirus, we have other pandemics we're struggling with, like depression. It's a global
Yeah.
pandemic
Yeah.
because there's so many reasons why people are depressed. Look at the state of the world. When you look at the news, like what good comes out of the news?
Nothing. Not a whole lot. Not a whole
And
lot.
not everybody can stomach that.
Yeah.
You don't have a job. You're at home doing whatever you're doing. You turn on the news, you get negative stuff. Where do you tend to? Like
Yeah.
spiritually, your mind, body, soul, everything is like, you know what? I can't.
Yeah.
There's so many people out there that need a reason to make it for the day. Like they are so down. That was the situation with my mother. But for me to be where I am today, I had to take action. I had to choose to live in the past or to move on. I decided I was going to heal. I was going to move on. It takes time.
Yeah.
This is why I go back to what I said earlier, that everybody around us have a
Mhm.
hidden scar. Some scars are not only from somebody who committed suicide, it could be from an abusive childhood, an abusive marriage. But these people do not show these signs. They do not show these symptoms because that's inside. That's their
Yes.
wolves. They're their demons they're fighting. People, I have a video coming up soon whereby this guy goes to work every day. He comes back home. He drowns himself in alcohol. All these societal issues, societal ills
Yeah.
that are affecting everybody. That's a pandemic. And it needs to be addressed so that there is more hope for people that are going through this. And it's a journey. It takes long. Some people's scars may heal tomorrow. Some people are quick to forgive. Some people, it takes them a long time to forgive, like I did. It took me a long time to forgive my mother.
Mhm.
The moment I forgave my mother, I said, you know what? I'm taking this seed of resentment and you know what? I'm chucking it in the trash because I want to live. I want to be happy. I don't want my kids not to have a mother because if I continue staying in the state of mind that I'm in, I'm going to die.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I had to decide to be positive. I have to decide to set myself free. So I did. The moment I did that, my mind opened up. I started writing. I said, you know what? I'm going to write about my journey. That's when I realized I could actually write about the bad days of life. Like you can turn any bad day of life that you're going through, like I did. I turned
Mhm.
my depression into something positive. I'm now a writer. I speak about depression. I speak about my journey to healing. We can all heal, but we have to take action. We have to decide that we need the healing. We
Yeah.
have to decide that we need to stop the drug addiction because if we do not stop with the drugs, it's going to kill us. We need to decide
Absolutely.
that I'm not going to be addicted to opioids anymore. We have to make that decision. It's tough, it's hard, but it
Mhm.
can be done.
Absolutely. And you're right. The and you, the drugs, it's insane because they'll basically numbing you from thinking about depression by taking these drugs instead of taking the right path of spiritually opening up your mind and moving past the pain. And like you did, right? You said you took matters in your own hand and you're like, I'm not going to live like this. I'm going to make a change and make the world a better place. And that's amazing. I love it. What are some of your motivations for the things that you do on a daily basis?
I feed myself and my followers positive content. It's all about feeding yourself.
Yeah.
You are, that saying that says you are what you eat, you are what you read, you are what you feed yourself when it comes to social media content.
Yeah.
If your videos or whatever your news feed is giving you bad news and negative stuff, you are seeding that into your brain.
Yes,
So
you
you
are.
have to feed yourself positive thoughts. I tell myself I'm beautiful. I tell myself that I'm the best. And every day I live a life of anticipation. Like I always say, you know what? I I'm anticipating an email. I don't know where it's going to come from, but it's going to be a good email. And I did I
Mhm.
do get, and I did get an email this week because I
Yeah.
was anticipating an email. So you have to live a life of anticipation. We are what we think. We become what we feed our brains. It's so scary because have you ever seen that when we talk negative stuff about ourselves, it happened? Have you ever gone through that? That you say
Oh,
something
yes.
actually happens?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I've heard so many people, even when people watch games, they'll be like, I called it, I
Nice.
called it. And they're screaming and saying, I told you I called it, guys, I called it.
Mhm.
We become what we think.
We do. You're absolutely right. And here's the kicker, right? So as human beings, we only have the limitation. We are limited in our mind to the level of understanding we have of this world. So
Hmm.
we have there's 3 or 4 dimensions that we can comprehend. That's it. Right?
Hmm.
But there are more dimensions to this world. There are more um things in this world, and there's something that they talk about is quantum entanglement or quantum physics, right? So quantum, what that enables is that it's a cell in motion can have 3 states. It's on, off, or it's undecided. And what's amazing is that you can have this connection between yourself and somebody else way far away, and we don't understand how we have this connection. It's because there's another layer of connections in this
Hmm.
world. Radio
Hmm.
waves, we can't see radio waves, and that's right in front of our eyes.
Hmm.
How are we transmitting this information, this video, across you know space and time? It's amazing. So there are other levels and other dimensions. So when you put a thought out in your head, when you put a thought out in the universe, hey, a good email is going to come to me, that message is received, and it then comes back to you. So it's really amazing how the world is so close, yet we feel far apart. I love it. All right. Thank you so much, Lucy, for sharing so much amazing, positive, and you know, deep emotional connections, and the thoughts, and the learnings that you've gone through. Sharing your journey, sharing your story, and how you were able to combat depression by taking a stance, by taking action to overcome all of those. I love it. At this point of the conversation, I like to ask my guests some really fun questions. So, are you ready? All right. So, you did mention that you grew up in Zimbabwe, and when I was learning the names of the countries, I was like, Zimbabwe stuck out to me because that's one of the funnier, like fun to say country name, and it's also in the Z's. There's a lot. There's very limited things that start with the letter Z. So really cool. So, what is the one hobby that you wish you got into
From Zimbabwe.
for any time in your life? Like I wish I had played the guitar. I wish I sang, or I wish I played more sports, something like that. So, what was something for you that you didn't get to do yet?
I have, yeah, that's a very good question because I've always said I wanted to write my own music and
Mm,
write a song and sing it. It's one of my things on my bucket list. I've said I want to write a song. I want to be
mhm.
a singer, and
Yeah,
so that's one of my hobbies, and I still have to chase that hobby.
nice. That's awesome. I love it. I actually used to sing in a band
Oh,
for a
wow.
few times. This was over a decade and a half ago. So, but every once in a while, I'll sing to myself, or I'll sing to the kids or whatever, and it's fun. It's fun.
It is. Music is very, I find music, there's so much healing in music. Even if you can't sing, just try it. It's amazing. Music heals. I
Oh
find
yeah,
so much peace in music. Like,
yeah.
it's the best.
It is one of the best. And what's even cool is music is helping, especially if you combine music and dancing. It
Mhm,
helps people with Alzheimer's to
mhm.
remember and to actually not stutter anymore. It's pretty cool. Our next question: what did you want to be when you were a child?
I always wanted to work in the travel industry, and
Mm.
I did. When I was in England, I was an airport supervisor, like I said.
Nice.
Back home, when you live like in a country like that relies with a lot of tourism, at that point with so much tourism back home, I would see these tourist buses, people coming in, and they
Yeah.
all wearing shorts. Like sometimes it's June. And then, like these people come from Europe, they're wearing
Yeah.
shorts. I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's cold.
Wow, that's so funny. Because they think, oh, it's in Africa, it's going to be warm, but
Yeah.
it's actually cold. And you're right, even in summer times, because I grew up in Saudi Arabia, and with those desert nights are always cold,
Hmm.
no matter the time of the year. All right, next question. What is your favorite movie or TV show? And if none, how about a book? So,
There's a TV show that drives me crazy. I have two actually. It's called 90 Day Fiance. Have you ever
uh,
watched that show?
no, I have not.
Oh my goodness. It's an American show. It's on TLC. So what they do is like people find partners, like their future husbands, future wife,
Hmm.
remotely. Like most of them are like some of them like in Pakistan, some of them are from Morocco, some of them
Hmm.
from Brazil, some are from Europe. They're from all over. So these
Yeah.
Americans fall in love with these people,
Hmm.
and then they have to get them the K1 visa. So they must come to America and get married in 90 days. It's funny as heck because sometimes the characters just clash. They just, and the cultural part, I'm like, if you're gonna marry somebody from Morocco, study their culture.
Absolutely. So, what is this show called?
The 90 Day Fiance.
90 Day Fiance. Okay. I think I heard I somebody else mentioned this to me. 90 Day Fiance. That's funny. Because the culture clashes and all the drama that's going on in there too, right? That's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
crazy. I love that show.
Awesome. I'll have to check out an episode or two. All right. Next question. What movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
What movie would I choose if I had to play a character in it?
Hmm.
Oh, what's that movie with Richard Gere, Pretty Woman?
Pretty Woman.
Yes.
Perfect choice.
Thank you.
That's an awesome movie. All right. Next question. Who is your favorite superhero?
Who is my favorite superhero? Spider-Man.
Oh, he is one of the best. Now, there's been several different versions of Spider Man.
Yeah.
Which one would you pick of the three? So there's the Tobey Maguire one, then I can't remember the one in the middle, and then there's Tom Holland with the latest. But as a character, Spider Man is cool no matter what.
I would go with Toby. I pretty like Toby.
Yeah, me too.
He's a good actor.
He's a really good actor, and he really played that role in it, like because he was also the first Spider Man. So I always think back to that one.
It goes back to original. Remember, organic original is always like,
Organic and original.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. This question is a different one. Let's see how you do. If you were a board game, what would it be?
Chess.
Oh, you were really quick to answer that one. That's awesome.
I used to spend hours and hours on my
Really?
trying to make a move.
Nice. Nice. And you've made some good moves in life. That's awesome. I love it. So, Lucy, thank you so much for your time. This was an awesome, awesome conversation with you. Thank you for sharing your journey, your story, and all the amazing things. Um, it is Friday, and I'm getting tired. I'm exhausted. But this was a very fun conversation. Thank you so much for lightening up my day. Where can my audience find you?
On Facebook at Lucy Ruth, and my website www.lucyruth.page.
Perfect. So I will be sure to include the links to to your website and your Facebook on this podcast. Thank you so much for your time. Have an amazing day.
You too. Enjoy your Friday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode on Hacks and Hobbies. We absolutely appreciate your contribution. You can find additional notes on hacksandhobbies.com. Please share the podcast with your friends and tell them what you learned about our guest today.